Welcome to today's update of the Yuki Den, of the Yuki Critter Den. Today's update focuses on the dice and how you can roll the dice. It's a brand new system that we are trying out for the next update, which is coming out sometime after 1 p.m. Pacific today. So make sure you guys check it out when it comes out. I will be posting it on my community tab on YouTube. But it is time to roll and enter the den. So as you guys can see, we have something new. We have a new contraption in the middle of the table here. And this is a mini, kind of like a mini dice tower. Something like you would normally see on Critical Role, where they roll into it like a dice tower. So this is my version of it. And I may change this down the line in different updates. But basically the dice are being rolled here and then they will fall down. But I'm not talking about these dice you see on the table. I'm talking about these dice you see here. This is not a dice, but this is a dice spawner. So where is this coming from and how did we get here? Well, for that, we need to go to boot. BOOTH. And that is because of this particular asset that you can purchase from Ithia Kobo on boot. And I decided to get the full package, which is $8 if you convert it to United States dollar. If you are playing Monopoly or like Shoots and Ladders, you only need the D6 sided. But if you're playing something like D&D or tabletop, you will be required to buy the expansion package because that also has the D20 as well, and that is required for D&D because it's skill check. So make sure you guys check it out. Let's continue. So, how does this operate and how do you use this? To start, wait for the DM to tell you, or based on your attack, or based on what the DM is calling for, use this particular scroll down, the drop down menu, and use the scroll bar to determine which dice you need. For a skill check, attack check, you need a d20. Then how many the DM needs for you to roll. Please note for skill checks it's always 1. Then press the spawn button, and as you guys can see, the dice rolls in the quote unquote tower. And unfortunately, how unlucky of me, I get a 1. Now, obviously, if you played D&D, you know a 1 is sucky. It means total fail on the check or attack. Total fail. But that's okay because this is D&D and anything can happen. Press clear when you are done so that it doesn't bog down the server. Once you are done rolling. So now we need to talk about other things. Like for example, what happens if you need multiple dice? Let's say your attack is a D6 plus D7 plus D10. So all you have to do D6 and then press spawn and then press this, go here to D10, press spawn. A D6 plus D10. Then we would see what the number is. So in this case, add 5 plus 4 is 9. And then whatever other bonuses you have, like a spell bonus, all that stuff, then you add those together as well, along with these two dice. You may have noticed that there's a rotating name on top of the dice. We will get to that in just a quick moment, because that's also going to be important for this update. So as you guys know, there are 4 players in D&D, with including the DM. Now, keep in mind, you can actually have up to 9 players, where there's 8 characters plus the DM, who sits over here. You may have noticed already there are 4 of these guys, the spawners. That is because each player is assigned their own username, right? Your username actually tells you who is using the name. For example, if Kyle was shown here, is sitting down here, on or sitting or standing in this particular spot, his dice would show his username, like Lone KC or Accelerated KC, whatever he's using on VR chat. I think it's Lone KC. Everybody would know because the dice would have his name on it, on top of it. In this case, as you guys can see, the name would be rotating. So that's his dice, and that's the number he got, for example. Now, what happens if there are multiple people rolling? I'm going to spawn dice here, and some of them may fly off the table. Which I'm going to explain some rules you can actually implement. So as you guys can see, we have multiple dice here. If you clear on this one, it only clears the one that was spawned from this particular player. Same thing here, it clears the one from this particular player. Also clear all does the same concept. Same thing for the dungeon master. Press clear to clear the dice from the DM and whatever dice here. Okay? Now, let's go over some rules because I know there's some rules when it comes to dice rolling. Now, obviously follow your dungeon master when doing this kind of thing. But here are some general rules. If the dice, let's see if we can get it here. Let's see if we can get a wedgie. And all of them are readable. Yeah, all of them actually drop to the tape to the dice roller. I'm surprised. Let me see if that one over there. Nope, that's still readable. Okay, I think we got one over here. Let me actually try D4. They all drop to the center there. Okay, we have a good example. So as you guys can see here, one of these dice right here is not properly flat. And it has this red one in the middle here. What happens in this situation? There's a term we use in D&D called cocked. And it's when the dice is not official like readable or it's like in the middle of two numbers. In this case, because it's a triangle, you want the triangle dice, the D4, to lay perfectly flat like the other dice as you can see here. In this case, if your dice is cocked, then you have to re-roll that dice. Now the way you re-roll is you would spawn another dice, another D4, and then add the result to the new dice. If the dice is on the table like shown here, it's also going to count because it's on the table. It does not have to be inside of the dice tower per se, but it needs to be on the table for it to count. If, however, the dice decides to go yeeting away from the world, like off the table, and stuff, I'm gonna make this to 10 so it's easier to see. Oh, that almost went off the table. That was almost off the table. Come on. We have to We have to eventually get one here. We're gonna get one that's not off the table. That's on my DM screen. Oh, we got a few. Okay, this is off the table. It's up to the DM to decide if you need to reroll this particular dice or not. But the most general rule of thumb is you reroll. How many dice ended up off the table, and then you try again. In this case, it was two. And then whatever you get is the new result. Don't forget to clear the dice. When you are done, rolling. Okay? Now, what happens if you do not want to play D&D and you want to roll dice anyway? Head to the hangout room because for you, I have another dice roller. Now you can only spot up to 100 dice. Keep that in mind. But you can play as much as you want with the dice. Now, this is actually a good time to talk about the other games you can play. If if I decide to make a my version of Shoots and Ladders, you can roll d6 and you can actually have that at your table right here if you wish to do so. I may make another one just in case. Or if you want to make your own game, you can. That's up to you. Now, as far as what else is coming up, because I'm excited for the next one too. It's the next major one. So as you guys know, there is only one room of D&D for 4 players. Now, a couple of things can happen. Number one, I could expand this particular room to make it available for 8 players, where the DM will still sit at the same position in per se, but this dice tower thing is going to be expanding. Okay. Oh, and I am also thinking of adding a bonus, a bonus room somewhere around over here where you can play D&D with this dice roller, but there's gonna be like a grid of grid system per se, where I'm gonna draw some lines in the on the table on a quote unquote floor, and then whatever you guys want to do with that, you can. It's like a battle map. Now, keep in mind, I'm not gonna make battle maps per se for D&D. This is because this is theater of the mind we're talking about here on this table, on this area. But I may make a battle map D&D specific in some shape or form. I just have to decide of how to implement this guy into that particular area. I don't want to do it about it yet. I just want to start like expanding this little by little. Also, also, in the next major update, there's going to be another room, which leads to private rooms. You can play, you can play private games. Here's the catch. The catch is I do not have the creator economy for VR chat. I was not selected. I was not selected. So Patreon is required for those rooms over there when I do the private rooms. Okay? And then you can roll dice in there as well. Alright? But that's not gonna be today. That's gonna be in the next major update sometime next month or so. Okay? For this update should be out between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. Pacific, or 4 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern. Now, there's also one other thing I might add, and that is a camera system for the players so they see what they rolled. Let's say if you do not want to get up on the table to see what you rolled, there's gonna be like a camera either on the right or left to see what you rolled. The DM also has this board, which I may change to the camera. Right now it's initiative order, but I may change this so that the initiative can be taken outside of the like in a real life notebook, if you know what I mean. Instead, this can be a camera directed at the table here, the dice tower, so that we can see what number was rolled, just in case that the players do not want to get up on the table itself to check what they rolled. As far as the dice here, it is you can still use them if you wish. I'm not removing them yet in this update, but there is a chance I may. However, I may keep the D6 for Monopoly or other games that require D6. Okay? That is it for this update. Welcome back to the Den. The Den will open again for VR Chat Live on Saturday, January 11th. So get ready for Amy Bros this time. Because have no fear, Amy Rose is here and she's going to roll dice. Okay? That's all for now. And welcome to the Den. And remember, as always, is it Thursday yet? We'll see you guys very soon.